Hello, my name is Kevin and welcome to part 2 of my visit to Rutland Antiques and Art Centre in Uppingham in Leicestershire. Yes, part 2. So this is, now that I'm looking, probably going to have another couple, 2 or 3 more parts. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, still some more weirdy bits of glass that I've not seen before, so having a bit of fun with those, trying to figure those out, and obviously that then becomes time consuming, but it doesn't matter. I'm discovering, and that's the main thing. So anyway, so with that said, let's get on and have a look at the glass. So this is quite nice. This is Murano. I've seen this on 20th century glass with this textured side. I should be able to, some is so this style where you've got layers, got blue, yellow, red, and clear on the outside. I've definitely seen this on 20th century glass, so, or at least this style of work. So I'll be able to show you an example of that. Here we're looking at the 20th century glass website, and yeah, so these two vases here are not the same colour or the same shape even, but they have the same features in that they have this textured side like this, polished front, and a summer-so interior. The one we were looking at, I think that was red and yellow. This is green and yellow. This one's just, I think it's purple and blue. So let's have a look at this one. And yeah, he doesn't know exactly who made them. He says they're generic, I think. Generic design made by Mandrizotto and Campanella. Also found with, yes, some label. Anyway, this is what it is. Does he give a date? No. So he doesn't give a date. So yeah, I don't know what these kind of things are worth. I think they're a lot less common than the totally polished side summer-so pieces. So I don't know how much that affects the price or whether people prefer the smooth look. But anyway, this is what it is. It is a Murano piece. And we've got a couple of potential maker names here. So I was looking at these from outside thinking they might be Chinese. And they've got Polish written on them. I can't see a label anywhere. Look underneath. No. Yeah, the base doesn't look like a Chinese piece. So I don't know who would make that. It doesn't look like a Krosno piece. I mean, Josephina piece, I don't know. This is quite nice as well. Inside here, from outside, it looked like a piece of Chinese art glass, but from inside, it doesn't either. So, yeah, that's quite nice. And I thought this is how, it's so much better in here. Empoli, they're saying this is Empoli. So we will try and figure these bits out. So I've looked at a lot of Polish art glass vases, and funnily enough, I've come back to the company that I hadn't heard of before until I just found it in part 1 of these videos, and that is Makora, which is in Krosno. And what they have is one of their patterns. It's like this with blobs in it, a bit like the vase. This one. The one that's most like it is this one here. These kind of, so yeah, the background's different, but the way this is done is the same. It's not definite, but it seems to be the only one that's using this technique that I can find. It doesn't really pin it down, and that's the problem with art glass, is that you know, they might make 10 vases like that and then just whoosh in a whole different color set for the next 10, and then another color set for the next 10, and then they go, oh, we'll change the shape a bit for another 10, and they never come back to it. So you're not looking at something that's really mass produced, where you're going to go where there's thousands, so that you're going to go into Google and find another one exactly the same. That is, but
the making method looks to be the same. Yeah, it's hard. That's why I'm kind of like, art glass is not what this is about too much. I'm trying to find the glass that you can find, as opposed to the glass that there's a one-off and there it is, and you're never going to see it again. But anyway, I think it might be them, but yeah, I can't pin it down. I've tried to find the handkerchief vase. I've been through 20th century glass. I've yeah, Googled like crazy, and yeah, there's 1,000,001 handkerchief bowls, I should say, not vase, and there's none that's quite like that. And that one, yeah, it's a bit more stretched than usual, so maybe it would be classed as a handkerchief bowl. Yeah, you can see what I'm talking about. There's everybody and his brothers making them, and you have, you get a rough idea of what's around, what the most common ones, and there's others that you've never seen before as you're flicking through this. But yeah, there's none like that one with the big, really pulled long corners. And also, I did also have a go looking for the blue and poly vase as well. Actually, it was this one here, and yeah, I didn't find that either. So yeah, tough breaks on this one. Tough breaks.
They got French bowl written on this. I don't know who this is by. It might be a crystal dark piece. It doesn't look super quality. In fact, it feels like it's a moulded piece. So I'm not sure who that's by. But I will have a punt around and see if I can find it.
So I've been trying to find out exactly who made that blue bowl. The consensus of Google is that it's either made by Luminarc or Arca-Rock. In a way, that doesn't really mean that much because they are both part of Arc Holdings. So yeah, and Crystal Dark is in there as well. There's another one called Arcopal. Anyway, and it was originally called J.G. Durand. Anyway, I think it's more likely to be Luminarc. Arca-Rock is more for sort of, you like, your intensive use wear. That's what they describe it. So pubs, hotels, that kind of thing, and catering firms. Whereas Luminarc is more for homewares. This looks more like homewares, so I think it's Luminarc. And the prices are just like all over the place. Even just on this page here, there's one here for £12.99, and there's this one here for £84, and I've seen it going for over £200. So on one search, so yeah, just the prices for this bowl are just literally all over the place. So yeah, I have no idea how you'd price it really. It's not super common. There's a few up for sale. There's probably about 6 or 7, 8 maybe. I've got them all open up here. 2, 3, 4. Some of these are the same one though, but yeah, there's probably about 6 or 7 for sale at the moment. So not the most common, but anyway, that's what it is. I think it's Luminarc. And also the dates seem to change as well. Some people are saying 1970s, some people are saying 1980s. I feel it feels more like a 1980s type of thing. So just from the feel of it, because hey, I was alive then. So yeah, that's where I think we're at with it.
This piece here, they've got American on it. Summer so. I'm not going to pick it up because it's so heavy, but the base looks completely polished, which means it's most likely not Chinese. So yeah, I've never seen that before. It's not like any of the other Chinese pieces, apart from the fact that they use a lot of summer so, but this is like textured. Let's have a look at this bit here. Let me have a look underneath this. Yeah. So This is interesting. What have they got written on it? I think this is Polish as well. I think this is made by Sabina because of the textured base and these pulls, because they did a lot of these kind of vases with these pulls like this with textured bases. So that's what I think that is.
So I know I've seen that vase before with this label here on it. Yeah, but I can't find it at the moment. This is, so in this search for Sabina Roman hourglass vase, this is the closest it's come up, and it doesn't even say it's Sabina, it just says it's Poland. But then my search doesn't say Poland, apart from, yeah, it's, oh, let me do another search. So the other search I mentioned was for Zabkowitz, or Witz, and yeah, they're doing sort of pulled vases, but not exactly like I saw. And I don't know if this company is related to Sabina, whether Sabina's a brand for it or what's going on there. Yeah, there's not much stuff around for Polish glass. So I think it's Sabina. I'm pretty certain I've seen one with a label. I can't. Picked it up and turned it over, and that frosted base was spot on for what I saw. So yeah, but I can't prove it at the moment. Although I wasn't paying much attention to it at the time, I was more concentrated on that Somerset bowl, who I could not find anywhere. I've looked all over the shop for it. Anyway, the brown, what looked like a vase in the background, I think it was actually an Empoli decanter, and it would have a stopper a bit like this. This one's a bit narrower, but I've seen them with really big, wide, flaring stoppers that just sit in there. These kind of sit-in stoppers are actually kind of a bit more useful if you're kind of person like me that hangs on to stoppers than the ones that are fitted, because you can, if you have the right kind of decanter for it, you can almost guarantee it's going to fit, because there's no actual fitting. It's just designed to just plonk in and sit in there. So yeah, anyway, that's what I think it is. I've seen them before. I think I've seen one at Vintique, and I think it's in Poli, because of the way the lip is made. Nothing more than that really, but yeah, it's just an unusual thing. I've seen it before, and it has this kind of like big flary stopper that goes straight and just plops into it.
There's a whole bunch of goblets up here, and I know from experience now that I would always previously say these are in Poli, but I think these ones might be, these three here might be Scandinavian. I've seen before with the label on. I will try and check that and see if they're the same shape. Yeah. So I know that there are Japanese ones as well. So it's not all cut and dried with these goblets anymore.
Looking at the 20th century website here, and I think the three glasses on the right hand side there are not Empoli. I think they are Rid. Yeah, so he's got one here. He's got the label. Rid is a very obscure Swedish factory, not to be confused with Rids, who do chip repair in Sweden, throughout Sweden apparently, according to this, because I did try to look. So yeah, that's a completely different kettle of fish. Anyway, why did I think it was Swedish when I saw it, etc., etc.? And yeah, the profile of the foot and the stem is just like those glasses. So yeah, that's the only thing that's really differentiating. So I think this is what those three glasses are. Not Empoli, but Rid.
Something I'm going to buy on the shelf below is this. It's a custard glass by Richardson's, frosted. So this is like 1850 to about 1870. Yeah, that is, price is a bit of a bargain. So I have wine glasses in this service, so that is going to come home with me. And I think I've got a carafe as well.
So I really like that little custard glass, but I did spot after I put it down that it had a big chip on it. So, and not really repairable because of the handle. You'd have had to make the rim much lower than the handle, and it would just been too awkward, or have the rim go at a slope. So yeah, that really not repairable. If it was a straightforward glass, I might have bought it and had it done, but yeah, it just wouldn't look right. Anyway, I do have this carafe in the same pattern, and I've said this is normally attributed to Richardson's. Now this is actually a bit of a problem, and I'm going to show you why. So everybody says these are Richardson's invented this process, okay, or the commercialization of this frosting process in about 1851. So you could do it before, but it wasn't very commercial. They figured out a way to do it commercially and make it look like this. These two here, I don't have a reference for them, but are regularly attributed to Richardson's. This one is one of their registered patents, so that one I'm very happy with, and I've got a book reference for it. However, if I show you something else here, where is it? Where does it go? I think it's this one here. Yeah, so this is attributed to Richardson's. Yeah, so Richardson, blah, blah, blah. Let me show you something. So if I go back to my own website. So if I'm not sure, I kind of like, so if I go into the frosted, and yeah, yeah, I have another one here. Look, where has it gone? Let me show you this. Look, I have more glasses, but I've just said, yeah, I've not said who this is by. I've not tried to guess even, but this glass here has the same pattern on it, and this glass is a Whitefriars pattern, but here is being attributed. In fact, is that the same glass even? Yeah, it's the same glass even, and this is in the book. So, you know, it's in the Whitefriars book here, and it's in the catalogue in the book. So, yeah, 1855 catalogue. So there you go. And here it is being attributed to Richardson's, because everybody says, a lot of people say that Richardson's glass is frosted glass, or a lot of people say frosted glass is Richardson's because they invented the process, but loads of other people exploited that process or were paying them license for it or something. But anyway, yeah, attributions to Richardson's for this kind of glass is a bit weak unless you've got a definite reference.
So here there's a whole bunch of Dartington vases. This jug here is interesting though, because the handle is made in the old way, not quite, but it's got what's known as a piggy tail, which you see on sort of the early 19th century, 18th century glasses and jugs. So that's quite an interesting piece. I've not seen that one before. They're saying it's Dartington, so I'll try and look that up. But the rest of these, yeah, I recognise this style, this rib style. These are very Dartington things. We might pick a few of those out. I've not seen the tea light with the bulb on it before, so I think I'll definitely pick that one out and get you a date for that. The book we're looking at here is Dartington Glass, The First 20 Years by Linda and Stuart Smithson. And yeah, so this is the page for 1974, or one of the pages. And it's saying, actually it's saying, ale, drink to that. Summer tankards. So they're not, it doesn't have a pouring lip. It's a bit like a aesthetic movement jug without a pouring lip, but it looks like a jug. Yeah, so it's trying to look like an 18th century tankard. Now, I have a jug that looks like a tankard that is from the 18th century, so maybe I'll show you that on my website and show you what I'm talking about.
So this is my website, lovedecanters.co.uk, and we're in the section on cream jugs here. And yeah, so this is the glass I was talking about, and the references I'm using here are actually for tankards. I've got a date here, 1770, so this is what that tankard is trying to emulate with the little piggy handle that I was talking about. You can see it's attached from top to bottom like that one was, and you can see these other ones from that period are all like that, and then you get down to the bottom and you've got a slightly newer one which is attached from bottom to top. So yeah, that's what it's trying to be, but just straight across that with that little pinch off the top. So yeah, it's trying to be like an 18th century tankard.
This is quite a nice, this is like Victorian one, I think. This one, this is as well. They're quite nice. I think this one's got a piggy tail. But they've both got top to bottom tail, so I think these are probably more the 1870s, 1880s as opposed to 1890s. This is interesting. Looks very Victorian. It's got those little bosses in it. You see on the Davidson, there's if it was plain, I'd say it's Davidson 1850s, but not with this cutting, or impressed cutting it is. But yeah, that's quite interesting. Celery vase there. Also in the back here, got a bit of Stuart Crystal. It's a compot, I think. This small compot. It's a Stratford pattern. We can try and find that in the catalogues. Don't think I've seen that one before, so not a common one.
So I'm looking at the Stuart Crystal 1927 catalogue that I've downloaded from the Stuart Crystal Collectors Facebook group, and in this one, this is the only combination that I can find of Stratford rings and this crisscross pattern. There are other objects with just this crisscross pattern, but that doesn't count in this case. So they might have been making those compots at these times, but it's not in the catalogue. But if I skip forward to the 1938 catalogue, here is the compot here. So, and this is sweet dishes and compots, so that's exactly what it is. So I have found it, and yeah, 1938 is the earliest I can find it from, but it might be as early as the 1920s. I mean, the Stratford rings here, these little rings you can see at the bottom, those came in 1921. How quickly they started adding embellishments, because you can see here this is used quite frequently. Look here and here as a base pattern. So yeah, I think it's 1930s pattern at the very latest, and possibly as early as the 30s. Oh, hang on, 20s.
There's got bars in here. I've seen, I think this might be a Stuart Crystal pattern. Can you see? It's like a cut with stitches across it, running around it. I'm not definite. Let's get my hand in and see what the label says. Let's see if I can find that. I'm not definite though.
I'm looking at the factory drawings for Stuart Crystal that I loaded into the Stuart Crystal Collectors Facebook group. And yeah, so in my mind, this is the pattern that I was thinking of. It's quite rare. I've never actually seen it, but that lines with little things through it was in my head. But unfortunately, they're on an angle, and this is just straight up and down. There are other patterns kind of in this kind of area that have this kind of feel and look about it. So I think it is a post-war piece. But yeah, I can't pin it down. It's quite a cool vase, but without getting it out there and turning it over, and that would involve pulling out loads of other glass and stuff like that, I'm not able to identify it. Yeah, there might be a mark, but there wasn't a description on the label, I don't think, so there probably wasn't a mark. Yeah. Anyway, I was out of luck with that one. I thought I might know what it was, but I don't.
I've not seen one for a while. There's a Dartington palm dish here by Anita Harris from 1983. Yeah, if it was a smaller one, I'd buy it because I've got that size already, but I'm looking for the really tiny one. But they normally come in pairs. The book we're looking at is Dartington Glass, The First 20 Years by Linda and Stuart Smithson. And yeah, Anita Harris palm dishes, not Anita Harris the dancer, Anita Harris the designer. I think she was actually on secondment, or no, intern. She was an intern or something. Don't know if she was paid from university doing design. And yeah, so she wasn't there that long, I don't think. So there's only a few bits with her name on from Dartington, but I know that she went on to do pottery afterwards. So anyway, these are the palm dishes. Got the pattern number down here. They've got different pattern numbers. Can you see? Different sizes. There's 4 sizes. Unfortunately, the little serving dishes, if you see it says platter, dishes. Yeah, you can only buy the little ones as pairs, and I've been trying to get one, a little tiny one, because you can stack them up like this and they look cool. But I've only got the 3 big ones at the moment. I've seen the little tiny ones, but only as a pair, and then they want like £30. So I'm trying to get myself just a little tiny one on its own, but not very much because I'm a cheapskate. But anyway, yeah, in fact, I think I'm going to show you something just so you see, because it says they look cool, and I think they do, because look at this. Yep, brought these out of my living room. This is 3 stacked up. There's another little tiny one in the middle. Listen to the noise they make when you... They make a really racket when you move them. But they're cool, aren't they? Okay. And it'll look even better with another one in the middle, but I'll keep looking. So I'm looking at this shelf from inside here and getting a better look at these, and they've got labels on. Veritable Opalan de Murano. So we'll be able to check those labels out. There's 2, they're slightly different sizes. So those are quite interesting. I realised I missed a piece of film from the window, so I'm putting it in, slotting it here at the end. And those little opaline, little containers, I should say, or jars. This is the label that they had on it. You can see it really clearly here. Can I make it go big? No, it doesn't really. This doesn't work. I don't know what that. I keep pressing that for and thinking something different is going to happen. Anyway, this label here with an N written at the beginning, Veritable Opaline de Murano. Yeah, V. Nason. So I have found out something else. So I've tracked that label down to here, and yeah, 20th century glass, obviously. V. Nason and Co. Vincento, I think it's Vincento or something. Nason. Yeah, he's saying it is Murano. He's got a hole. What does he say? I think it's back here. If I go back, scroll back to the top. So this is all the V. Nason glass. You can see he's got similar kind of labels. Look at this stuff though. I see this around, see it labelled as different things, so that's quite interesting.
I think other people were making this aventurine black glass, so you're really gonna have to go by shape for that. Anyway, Vincenzo Nason and C, that's his company. Started in 1967. So anyway, there you go. That's what it is. So it is Murano and it's by V. Nason. We know it's post 1967, and closed around 2001. So we've got a fairly biggish window of time for it to. That's 34 years, I think, that it can slot into. But yeah, it's nice to pin it down.
So there we go. So some I knew, some I vaguely knew, some I didn't know, some I didn't know and couldn't even find anywhere. So yeah, that's how it goes. So anyway, was good, enjoyed that. So remember, all the references I use will be in the description below, as well as contact details for Rutland Antiques and Art Centre. And yes, and please remember to like and subscribe because it really does help my channel. Thank you for watching and have a good night. Good night.